All right, what is up, Utah fans? This is Joseph back with the Utah Utes Football Digest, and it is good to be back here with you. Whether you are a Utah fan, a Big 12 fan, or an Arizona fan, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We're going to be talking Big 12 football, specifically focused on Arizona football, but we'll discuss some other topics as well. In a minute here, I'm going to bring on Big Tucson Dad. Before we do that, guys, smash the like button. That'll help get the video out to more Utah, Big 12, and Arizona fans. Also, comment down below as we go through the discussion. I do want to hear what you guys are thinking. I want your opinions. I want you guys to chime in. Also, if you haven't already, no matter what you're looking for, if it's Big 12 related, this is a place to be. Make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel. We put out a ton of football content when it comes to the Big 12, so make sure you guys stick around. And on that note, I got a little bit of housekeeping. Big Tucson Dad, I'm going to bring him on in a minute here, but I do have a little bit of housekeeping to do before we dive into everything. We are giving away some auto cards today. We have the Devin Lloyd autograph card from last week. And I have 2 numbered cards, and I have a Nephi Sewell auto. And I'm actually going to be giving them away to 2 people here. Let me pull it up. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to tell you who won the cards. All right. One of the people that won is actually a long-time supporter of the channel, so that feels extra good. So the first one that won the card is going to be Jake Lukler. Jake, I think you know how to get a hold of me. Let's get you your cards. You're going to be winning the signed Devin Lloyd card. You're going to be also winning the 2 numbered Devin Lloyd cards. So congratulations, man. Excited to get those over to you, so make sure you reach out to me. And then the person that is going to win the Nephi Sewell auto, very cool card as well. That is going to be the Maddox Clan 4201. Not as familiar with you, Maddox, but please reach out to me as well. Comment on the video, get in touch with me, and I will be excited to talk to you and make sure you get your cards. And if you guys want us to do some more giveaways, we're at 61 viewers tonight. If we get to over 100 viewers, we will go ahead and do a giveaway as well tonight. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring him on. Big Tucson Dad, how are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. It's definitely, I don't know about you guys. This felt like a Friday to me. I was end of the workday. I was like, damn, feels like a Friday, dude. So I'm ready for the weekend, but excited to be talking football. How's the week treating you?
It's going well. I recently I recently got laid off, so every day is kind of
Oh,
Friday for
there
me.
you
So
go. Forever weekend.
pretty much. But no, it's been a good week so far here, and this was a nice little research project for me to step away from LinkedIn on and go So just dive in a little bit on some things I love, which is U of A football and college football as a whole.
What industry are you in?
I have been for the past 3 years in advertising, specifically social media advertising.
Uh-huh.
Um, I was doing the social work for a few Coca-Cola brands at the agency I was at, but just had a giant merger that
Ooh,
happened on January 1st, and I survived the first round of layoffs, but didn't make the second cut.
round two,
So
knockout.
here
Sorry,
we
man. Well,
are.
that sucks. Well, if anyone does have a position in advertising, reach out to Big Tucson Dad.
Let me
Maybe you
know.
guys can help them out. That'd be awesome. Okay, awesome, man. So cool. Excited to have you on. We're going to talk some Arizona football. We're going to talk some Big 12 football. I know everyone's
Beautiful.
looking forward to it. Lonnie drops in the chat. Good evening from Northeast Kansas, and go Big 12. Yeah, Big 12. We're all going to be repping the Big 12 this year, no matter if you think it's a long-term thing or not.
Oh
But
yeah.
a fun topic that has been all over this week has been the EA Sports college football video game. Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I hope you
It's about
guys are
time.
just as hyped as I am. Yeah. So just to give you a little bit of background, why I want to discuss this. This is my game. This is like the game. And so, I like Madden too. A lot of people trash Madden. I still buy Madden every year. I'm a football gamer kind of guy. But this was the game. When this game stopped 10, 13 years ago, whatever it was, it
The
was,
world stopped.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was. And you remember the first couple of years, it wasn't that big of a deal. You were like, oh, we still got the other one. Then 5 years in, you're like, okay,
Eventually, you're like, when are
let's
we
get
gonna
this
get back
game
to
going.
this?
Yeah.
All the
But
freshmen in the last game have already graduated and gone to the league now. Let's get back to it.
yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, it was and over time, I remember. I don't know if anyone else followed this. I'm really into football gaming, and like there was a gridiron something that got close to doing like a startup project to remake college football. That was kind of cool, but
Really?
it never went. Yeah, there was a few real attempts to get something going, and then I don't know about everyone else. I think it was Clemson, LSU. I think that was the game. It was a few years ago in the playoffs. I'm trying to remember the exact game, but I remember sitting on my couch in Draper, Utah, and up on the screen pops the EA Sports logo. This is like 2020, something like that. And then you see like cleats at the field, and you're like, "Well, this isn't Madden."
Like, hold
And
on.
then and you're like, "Oh my god!" And then it said it's back, right? And that was pretty awesome. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
beautiful.
that's awesome. Have you been keeping up with all the news been coming out about the game the past couple days?
Here and there, yeah. I know everyone was so concerned about it being a Madden reskin. And from what I've seen, just from people who have gotten first access look, um, done some reporting, like video game reporting and whatnot, it they've all kind of come to the conclusion and like really made a point to say in the reports, this is not a Madden reskin.
Yeah,
As somebody who's kind of been tired of the Madden franchises for a little while now, I think that's really exciting to hear
yeah,
personally. So I and just from what I've also seen with like the details that they've put in like research and actually contacting these different schools, going around campuses, taking pictures, really getting in touch with the different traditions. I think this is going to be a very good game. And I haven't really been into the football games as much in like the last few years here. Um, but this I think this is gonna be the one that gets me back into it for sure.
no, I'm with you 100%, man. And just, I'll put this up on the screen. This was an article a few people shared that I thought was kind of cool. And I'll just touch on it for a minute, just in case any of you guys are as excited about this as I am. Just a heads up, tomorrow, if you guys are looking for EA Sports college football content to talk about, tomorrow they are going to be dropping the actual deep dive gameplay details. So if you're into that,
Oh, really?
yeah, so yeah, but there's a few things. There's a couple things I wanted to just point out. Where is it? Let's see if we can find it in here. Recruiting. I guess if you're a college football fan, recruiting is probably the most exciting part. Like dynasty mode, recruiting in dynasty mode. There's going to be 4,000 total prospects every year, 32 5-star prospects. Should be a ton of fun. It should be a great time. I don't know if it's in this article. I'll take this off the screen. But one thing that sounds super cool is they're going to have like a wear and tear system. Have you heard about
Yeah.
that? I think that's like, we haven't seen it. It could be annoying and not fun, but it sounds like it could be pretty damn cool.
I was gonna say, for the people out there who really, really, really enjoy realisticness, being involved in their video games and like trying to get that true authentic experience, I think that's gonna be very cool. As for somebody myself who I love playing the easy version of any game I play because I just want to have fun. Like I was grinding on MLB The Show earlier today. I only play on rookie because I just want to hit nukes.
Yeah.
Like I will probably be turning off the wear and tear toggle function if they
No,
allow
that makes sense. I'm the opposite. I've played too much damn Madden. I used to love rookie, and now I just feel like I've gotten to a point where I can't do it. It gets
me.
boring too quick for
Yeah.
me.
No,
But
I get that.
yeah, but I totally get where you're coming from. Anyways, we won't talk. I know you guys aren't here to talk EA Sports College Football, but I just didn't want to touch on that because I feel like if there's any group of people that are excited about that game, it's probably this group of people. But let's talk
Sure.
about what we're here to talk about. New Big 12. You're a part of it, just like us. 12 months ago, something like that, where you're sitting
Something.
there. Yeah, you
Maybe
don't,
not
you
even
don't,
12 months.
yeah, you don't know what's going to happen. All of a sudden, everything starts falling apart, right? Oregon and Washington head over to the Big Ten. Then all of us are kind of stuck here in limbo, hoping it's going to work out. I'm trying to remember the timeline. Was Colorado the first to jump to the Big 12?
Colorado was the first to go,
And then was it
and
all three of us at the same time? Is that accurate?
kind of. Like officially on paper, yeah, the
Yeah.
three of us all came
Was it
over
Arizona
together.
first?
It
Arizona
was
was next,
Arizona
right?
first, and then we had some discussions with our board of regents, and the board of regents was going to say, "You guys will, you and ASU will be remaining in the same conference. Figure out which conference that is, but you guys need to stay together, essentially."
Yeah.
And so after I think like a week of deliberation, our our now fired president, President Robbins, convinced Michael Crow over at ASU to pick up his feet and stop dragging him, get in the lifeboat with us. And I think once that happened, that was when Utah was like, okay, we will
Yeah.
also
What
give
am I
up on the
supposed to
pack.
do at this point? Yeah. Utah, I think they kind of put themselves in a weird hole because Mark Harlan was out there making statements about how like the pack will not die. And so I think they
Yeah.
had to ride the ship until it just crumbled to pieces. So, but
I was gonna say, just based
yeah,
on like what I was seeing on Twitter from Utah fans, like up to that point, everyone was just so like heels in the sand, like we're not leaving the pack. There's no way. And I was like, all right, guys, that's up to you. But I'm
yeah.
glad you guys decided to come along with us.
I don't know about you. There was a moment there. I guess ASU or Arizona jumped a little before we did, but there was a moment
Yeah.
there where you were like, "Oh, could we? Is there any possibility that we could wind up in the G5?" Like it starts to get close to becoming a reality, and you're like, especially as a Utah fan and Arizona, you guys
Yeah.
killed it. Like, well, I guess 2023 was the year you killed it, so this has all already
Yeah.
happened. But it was like, hey, we're getting somewhere. This would be a nightmare to go back to the G5 right now.
Yeah, no. I mean, especially I wasn't alive when the Arizona was in a G5 conference. We were out in the WAC.
Yeah.
Um, um, but Utah being a little bit more recent, I can definitely see it being sort of a fresh wound that got a
Yeah.
band-aid put over. Finally, you make a Power Five, and now that Power Five conference is dissolved.
Yeah.
Goodbye, and now you face relegation again. So
Yeah.
I
That'd be
can
scary.
absolutely see that fear being very prominent in your fan base.
Well, and it's like, it wasn't even that. It was like obvious to me, and I think to all the Utah fans and probably Arizona fans feel the same, that you should be in a P5. Like it's like we're good enough to be in a P5. We've got some national
Yeah.
exposure.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
you were just hoping the dominoes were not going to fall into place, or all the musical chairs done, and you don't have a chair because then you have no other option. What do? You go independent, So
I remember the day that the news broke of USC and UCLA going to the Big
I was
Ten.
at Buffalo Wild Wings. I remember I was at a work event, and I remember seeing it, and people were like, "Is that real?" And I was like, "I don't know."
I was on vacation in San Diego, passing by San Diego State University, and I saw people talking about, "Oh, we'll bring in San Diego State and we'll be totally fine." And I was like, "I don't know, guys. We gotta figure something out here."
Yeah, I kept thinking that too. San Diego State, I mean, they were brought up a million times, and I was like, I get it. They're California, they're close to LA, but like
Yeah,
San
and
Diego State,
it's like no knock to San Diego State.
yeah,
They've always been a notable G5 program who hangs around. I would not I would not ever consider them a Power 5 level of school
well,
on various fronts.
no, I'm with you 100%. And it was weird how often they came up. But
A lot.
anyway, so the Pac-12 dies, in the course of basically 3 or 4 days. The Pac-12 falls apart.
Mhm.
The four corner schools come to the Big 12. It's an exciting new opportunity for all the schools a part of it. Why don't you tell us where your mindset is about the new Big 12? Where do you feel they reside in the college football landscape? And
Yeah.
what do you think the Big 12 will be moving forward? What's your confidence in it?
Yeah, so currently at the present moment in time, pending on whatever the ACC does, I would say the Big 12 has really established itself as the number 3 power conference because we all know the Big 10 and the SEC are up their own behinds and they want to take over the world and just gobble up every program and add it to their little collection. That's great. But Big 12 being one of those conferences that has gotten rated, being in the middle of the country, it can geographically kind of fit in with
Anywhere.
all those other
Yeah.
conferences because they're kind of hitting the borders and edges of the
Mhm.
country. Big 12 right in the middle. They've been getting poached slowly and surely through all these years. And shout out to Brett Yormick. They brought in not a football guy. They brought in a New York like business exec to come take over the
Yeah.
conference, and that's exactly what he did. He made an absolute shark move, waited for the Pac-12 to kind of be on their heels, losing some members, and when the time was right, I mean, they were able to bring in BYU, sorry, Cincinnati, UCF, and
Yeah.
Houston as kind of like a temporary sort of like get the conference back up to its numbers.
Yeah.
But I think their decisions to take the four corners and have four established Power 5 universities into their folds has really solidified it. I don't see this group of schools really breaking apart anytime soon.
Yeah.
Um, and that is why I would put them at the number 3 conference above the ACC, just with everything they got going on. Because it's really just a matter of time before like Clemson and FSU, maybe UNC, Miami, pull that trigger and somehow get out of their grant of rights that they have with the conference and head off to greener pastures somewhere. Um, and I don't think adding Stanford, Cal, or SMU is really moving their needle for when that inevitably happens. um,
Yeah.
so I definitely see us as the step above the ACC, and if they happen to fall apart, I could see us maybe looking towards expansion and picking up a couple schools. I think I wrote down like NC State to myself was one of the main ones I kept hearing
Pitt.
about. Pitt, like
Yeah.
Louisville,
Yep.
Virginia Tech was another one that
Yep.
gets tossed around a little bit. Um, so I mean, if we add those four or any other combination and go up to a league of 20, I mean, it'll be a big league, but the other two will also be absorbing
Let's
some.
pull
That's
up the
just me.
ACC schools. Let's pull them up. I
Just a
actually,
map. I was
Yeah, yeah.
looking at a
Well,
map earlier.
I was just thinking, like, because I think you're right. I think at the end of the day, the ACC has so many rumors about it just collapsing that I don't think it's realistic that it doesn't collapse. Right? Like, it
Yeah,
feels like that's imminent.
it's like self-fulfilling prophecy because that's kind of
Hmm.
how it was with the Pac-12 too. It was like the
Yep.
second the rumors started going about, oh, the Pac's going to dissolve, everyone was like, actually, we should get on lifeboats right now. It did.
Yeah.
So,
Well, so we got it here, right? And this is what I would say. I think your point is perfect. It's
mhm,
this the future of college football, the long-term future is probably two super conferences, just being real, at least
yeah,
like the P5 outlook. But what we're probably looking at in the medium future is two really good conferences and then the next best one, and that's the Big 12.
mhm,
Like you mentioned, we go down the line here. I don't think Boston College might go Big 10. It's a pretty good academic school. So let's
yeah.
go ahead and say they go Big 10. Clemson probably going SEC, right? They're going to want
I
them.
would assume so.
Yeah. Duke, I
Duke
think
feels like
Duke's
a Big Ten to me.
yeah, I'm with you with these like academic
I would say
powerhouses.
it's too
Yeah.
smart for the SEC.
Florida State, yeah, they're going SEC. I
Yeah.
don't think there's any question. Georgia Tech, very smart school.
That's
Yeah, I wonder
I
where they
feel like
would
that's
go.
kind of a toss-up, honestly,
Yeah. I could see
because
them going Big 12. I don't think it's crazy.
yeah,
Academically,
I could
they're
see
a
that.
notch above, but
Mhm, for sure.
I don't know. Let's say they go probably SEC to be with Georgia.
Yeah.
Louisville though is another one of those ones where do they have enough? They're not a academic powerhouse. Do they have enough prestige for the
Mhm.
big two to want them? That's how you got to look at it. It's like it's
Yeah.
not. It's like hey, if we let these guys in, we're splitting our shares. They're not just letting a
No.
decent school in. They're letting extremely good schools in. Like there's a reason Utah couldn't get into the Big Ten. No offense to Utah. It's like, and Utah's awesome. I'm a huge Utah fan. It's just, it's tough. And
Apparently,
so,
according to rumors, U of A was considered, but not seriously.
yeah, I mean, you got to think about it. They're going to split the shares with you, and you better be a very valuable asset if they're going to let you in. And so,
Absolutely.
Louisville, that's probably going to the Big 12. Then we've
I would
got
say I see it
Miami.
falling Big 12.
Yep. Yeah. Miami's SEC. Yeah. I mean, I feel pretty
Miami's
confident.
interesting to me because I feel like they definitely have like the name power to like go tag along with
Yeah.
Florida State to SEC. I don't I don't know if they have the athletics power to kind of waltz their way in there though.
Yeah, but
I
they've
mean
got the
like it's
money. They've got the
they
money,
they
and
do.
if they get in the SEC, is my thought. I'm with you. They're not very good right now. They haven't been good for a while.
It's
But
not the 90s anymore.
if they get in, their boosters are already big. If they get into the SEC, that booster pool will
That is
double.
true.
Yeah, it's
That is
gonna get
true.
very big. So UNC, I think Big Ten, right? No doubt
Yeah,
there.
super smart.
Yep. NC State, they're Big
NC
12.
State has Big 12 written all over them.
Absolutely. Notre Dame, I think
Doesn't count.
yeah, it's not really in the ACC for football, so that's a weird one. I would say Notre Dame. You'd imagine they'd go Big Ten if they did go anywhere, but I don't think there's any strong inclination they'd go
I've
anywhere.
I
Yeah.
feel if the ACC were to dissolve, because that's what they use the ACC for, is like exclusively like basketball, and I
Mhm.
believe non-revenue sports too. I'm not entirely sure, but
I
they're
think you're
wholly
right. I think it's
independent.
everything except football.
Okay, yeah, I think they would keep doing that and then just go straight to the Big Ten. Because I
Yep.
mean, they're in Indiana. It's the middle of Big Ten country. There's
Yeah.
nothing out there, but it's there.
All right, next. What do we go? Do we
Pitt.
do Pitt?
Not yet, but Pitt's another one of those ones that feels very Big 12 to me.
Yeah,
You
they're
know,
not quite good enough to like academically and prestige to get Big Ten, and they have the rivalry with West Virginia. I mean, they might as well go.
it's like, yeah, just get in here already. It's weird that you're not here already.
I think this is the probably the most peculiar one for me is Syracuse. Where would
I
Syracuse
think
go?
I think Syracuse if the ACC were to dissolve tomorrow, I think the most realistic move that Syracuse would do is conference wise go and join the Big East, and then for football maybe
Hmm.
go independent possibly,
Hmm.
or you could join UConn and do American and go
Yeah.
go
Well, I mean,
down
I
to the
think they would
G5.
want Big 12 if they're gonna go.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they
I
would
think
want.
if they could get into the Big 12 or Big
Yeah,
10, I think they would do Big 10
I
personally.
think as you look at this group here, Syracuse is pretty clearly the weakest school on here. Because then you
Yeah,
got Virginia, and Virginia, I think, is football not a terrible fit, but basketball an awesome fit, right? Another stud basketball program. Then you got VTech. We already talked about them being a great fit.
yeah,
And I think Wake Forest would be a clear fit for Big 12. They're kind of one of those programs that
really.
has, I think so. I mean, I feel like they have continued to have splashes. I can think of multiple 7-5, 8-4 seasons for them over the past 10 years.
For some reason, I just see Wake Forest fitting into the SEC very well.
They're not. That's what
It's like they would
they're
be like
not
another
good enough.
Vanderbilt. That's what I think is they'd be another Vanderbilt, but a
Do
little
you
bit
think
better
they
than
want
Vanderbilt.
another Vanderbilt? Like, it's a good question. Do they not want another beat 'em up, or do they not?
I
I
think
don't know.
they would want it'd be a little bit of a diversity hire. It'd be for the academics.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's
It
funny.
feels like it has SEC type energy around it,
Yeah,
but also it's smart. And
yeah.
they're better than Vanderbilt at sports, except for baseball. Close, but not quite. Vanderbilt's just a machine in
I
baseball.
always wonder about that. Is it like is it does Vanderbilt just suck, or is it because they're in the SEC? And probably a little bit of both, right? It's like they're
It's
not
definitely
very
like
good.
a grandfathering in.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
It's like
they've just been grandfathered in to the SEC from way back when, and they haven't been kicked out. So
yep. Well, and it's like, what if a Wake
not gonna give
Forest
it up.
were to go in there? What would that look like in 5 years? My bet would be that they're like Vanderbilt. That'd be my bet on what happens there. That
I
they just can't compete.
I feel like they would definitely be in the bottom rungs, but a respectable bottom rung, like a Mississippi State type of
Okay.
school.
Yeah, yeah,
You
that's a
know,
good comparison.
I
All
thought
right,
so
well,
at
let's
least.
talk about what we're all here to talk about, guys. We have a
Yeah,
bunch of people in here, 207 live viewers, so very fun. If you guys are
fantastic.
enjoying it and want to keep growing the stream, press that like button, smash it, and that'll help get it out to more people. Also, comment down below in the chat. We do want to hear what you guys are thinking as we cover these different topics. Big Tucson Dad, let's talk Arizona. So
Wonderful.
wildly fun, successful year as an Arizona fan. Can you walk me through the year? Tell me what it was like from your perspective and how you feel it went.
It was a dream. I mean, it was just everything I've been waiting for my entire life. It's what my dad's been waiting for his entire life. The feeling is called hope. I just learned recently. That's new to us, and
Yeah,
it feels cool. There's not an impending sense of dread through the months of August through November. Um, but I mean, yeah, it was just fantastic. I can't remember the exact over under win total that was put for us. I think it was 5 or 6 maybe, but we ended up
that sounds
crushing
right.
that. Yeah, and we just had our team really, really click. And like I was kind of saying, it was the first time in a long time where I felt genuinely confident in U of A while watching them. Like there were games where I would watch and I would say, this is a team we can and should beat, which is a very rare statement, which I was very excited to say for the first few times.
It's nice when
Uh,
your team finally starts getting to a point where it's like, hey, like we should
oh
win
yeah,
these games. Like we're the favorite in a lot of the games we're playing.
yeah. It was unfamiliar territory, but I was very glad to be in that unfamiliar territory.
Yeah,
Um, I believe it was that game against North Dakota State because where I kind of like got that inkling of, you know what, maybe this team's a little different. Maybe
You
this
talking
team's
about
different than
Northern
usual.
Arizona? Did you guys play North Dakota State?
Oh no, that was the previous season. Excuse
Okay.
me. But that was when Fish started
Okay.
turning it around. Was
Gotcha. Yeah.
2022, because North Dakota State will end up playing an FBS opponent, except someone thinks they're a cupcake, and then they just get trounced.
Yeah.
That was kind of when I knew things were starting to turn a little bit. Um, but this year, Northern Arizona, we blew out of the water, which we should always be doing.
Yeah.
Mississippi State, that was a very entertaining game. And there were so many things that went wrong, and yet we were still able to stay in it until like the very end. I thought, okay, we can hang a little bit with like that mid-tier SEC. I know Mississippi State isn't known for being crazy good, but
Yeah.
we're not dead in the water, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Squeaked out a win against Stanford, and that was the game that Noah Fafita finally came in. He Jaden Delora had been starting this whole time, and he just wasn't. He's not that guy.
Was that an injury or did he get pulled?
He got injured,
Okay.
and so they finally got to try out this new kid, Noah Fafita, and immediately, like his first drive of the game, I remember me and a lot of other U of A people on Twitter being like, I already feel so much more like safe and like
Yeah.
confident in this kid than I have felt in like the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It was it was like a coming to Jesus moment. It was very crazy. The Washington game was close the whole time, really exciting. A bummer we lost. Same with the USC game. That was insane.
That I remember that one. I remember watching that one live. Wasn't there like a really bad sideline call? Like remember he was stepping out of bounds and you guys like barely touched him and he fell. I swear
Yeah,
I remember
yeah. There was
clicking it.
a really bogus, unsportsmanlike
Yeah.
penalty got thrown against us towards the end there. Um, I'm in Central Time. I'm out of Chicago right now, and I stayed up until 1 a.m. to watch that game, and I was trying not to scream the whole time and wake up my fiance. I did, trying so hard. And then the rest of after like both that Washington game and USC game back to back, that was kind of okay, we can hang. It's like we
Yeah.
can hang for sure. And then we had a gauntlet. We played multiple ranked people all in a row. It was just one after another, and then we just kept coming out on top. Um, that last game against ASU is phenomenal. Sorry about last year, but beating Utah was always fantastic because you guys are so good.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm sure on your end, that game from your perspective was probably awesome. Like,
Oh
like
yeah, it
you,
was
you
fantastic.
probably like I wasn't expecting that to happen, and probably neither. Not that you expected us to win, but you probably didn't expect that that's how you guys would win.
Yeah, it was I definitely thought it was going to be closer, and I think a lot of that just has to do with Cam being out during that time. Um, but no, it still felt great. It was
I mean, let's be real. It was Cam, Jonah Ellis, Cole Bishop. There was a lot of people
Oh,
out,
I
but you
know.
guys, hey, you guys
I
won. It
know.
is what it is. I was watching the whole game, and it was a rough go. I
It
did not
was
enjoy watching like whatever you
it
felt
was
on the
fun.
good end of things. I was feeling on the bad end of things, dude.
But yeah, so I mean, it was just a great year, and then we curb stomped ASU in Tempe, which was fantastic, and then go off to go play in the Alamo Bowl and beat Oklahoma, which was a very pleasant surprise. I was really excited
Yeah,
about that. That was great. It was a great game too. It was very, very high energy the whole way through. But yeah, it was just top to bottom. I mean, we were doing everything right. We're floating on cloud nine. And then Jedfish left, which,
I
which
was gonna ask you about that. So let's imagine,
yeah,
yeah, the whole Jetfish leaving experience. Or at that moment, are you extremely worried that Fafita and McLaurin are gone?
oh, extremely, yeah. It's it definitely felt like a rug pull, kind of just out of nowhere. Because I mean, the one thing with watching this team all that season was you could tell how how connected they were and in each other's
I think I
corner.
said McLaurin, by the way. It's McMillan, right?
McMillan,
Yeah,
yeah.
I misspoke.
No worries. But so it really definitely took everybody by surprise. And so there was that initial concern of, oh, he's going to take everybody. He's going to take Noah Fafita. He's going to
Yeah,
take Tetro McMillan. He's going to take everyone with him. We're back in the dumpsters. This is great. This is just classic U of A. Of course, this would happen to us. Um, but a good amount of players very much felt the same way as the fans of having that rug pull. And so they were kind of turned sour by Jed Fish doing that. And so when he kind of came knocking of, hey, Seattle's pretty cool, they were
yeah.
like, no, this isn't it. And apparently, uh, both Tetro McMillan and Noah Fafita held like a players only conference, came
I think
together
I heard
and
about that too.
yeah, and they said, hey, if you decide to go with Jed, go somewhere else, that's totally fine. But this is like legit a family. And I think that really resonated with a lot of guys. And then getting Brent Brennan to come in as our new head coach. I don't know if he's the guy yet, but he has done a really good job of retaining a lot of guys.
Yeah,
We definitely lost some to Washington, and they went and joined Jed. But Brent Brennan, he himself is not a U of A grad, but his wife is, and his brother played football for U of A, and he was also a grad assistant coach for quite a while under Dick Tomey, who is our like most winning coach in program history. Um, so he's a U of A guy, so like he gets it. He truly
yeah.
does. And so having him come in and be like, I know what this school's about. Don't worry. Like I'm not some guy who's waiting for Florida to open up and just kind of build my way. This is home. This is like his dream coaching job.
That's awesome.
Uh, Having that plus our star quarterback and star wide receiver both say, "Hey, we are ignoring all those offers that are coming towards us from Alabama, Washington, other places like Texas A&M. This is home. This is we
Yeah,
love
those two could have
Tucson.
went anywhere they wanted.
Oh,
They anywhere. Yeah.
they could it was the pick of their own. They could throw a dart at the board and say, "Yeah, they're taking me." It's not an issue. So,
And just real quick,
it's
Lonnie, it's your second super chat. Thank you very much. So,
hey, Lonnie,
and it sounds like UA is pretty happy to be in the Big
we are
12.
very happy to be in the Big 12. But yeah, so I mean, it's we are excited, but also thankful for not losing everyone. We lost a lot of good guys, but at the same time, we were able to keep a lot of guys in-house and kind of keep the bond between them even stronger, I think, kind of going through that tribulation of should I our coach has left, should I follow him or should I stay with my boys? So I think we're in a good place. Fingers crossed. Might need some adjustments early in the season, but I think we're
Good.
good.
Well, very good, man, and definitely a wild year. So, with Jed
Mhm.
Fish leaving, this is one of the questions I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Are you I think from the outside perspective, I've actually brought this up quite a few times, that Arizona was consistently towards the top of the Pac-12 for recruiting multiple years in a row. And I remember talking about it and being like, damn,
Yeah.
that's a lot of four stars. And it reminds me of UCF right now in the Big 12, where it's like, yeah, they haven't popped yet, but you keep loading up a team with
Dude,
four-star talent. Eventually, something's going to click.
they are
Are you
building their
worried?
ammunitions.
Are you worried at all with Jed Fish leaving that maybe he was a big part of that recruiting? And yeah, or, I just want to get your take on that.
No, he definitely was.
Yeah.
Jed is a great recruiter. He is one of the smoothest talkers you'll find out there. He's super charismatic. He genuinely does care about all of his players. Um, I know I want to bash him, but like he is a really good guy.
Yeah.
He's a really good guy. He's a very good coach. Um, one of his main recruiting kind of tactics is the fact that he has so much NFL coaching experience, like being assistant and like skills coaching and whatnot. He has so many connections in the NFL, and he has brought so many of them to come visit U of A, talk to the players, help coach, help do drills, give pointers, things like that, mentorship even. And it's definitely a big factor of his recruiting plans, and I think he'll keep doing it, and I think he'll do a fantastic job. Um, and I'm just hoping that Brent Brennan can also do some good recruiting. I
Yeah.
know the one thing that does give me hope with Brennan and his recruiting is the fact that San Jose State had their facilities before he got there like a dump, like
Yeah. Yeah.
legitimately like a high school locker room type of situation going on over
Yeah.
there. And he was still able to get guys to come over there. They won the Mountain West. They got enough boosters to come through and good players to come through to have people invest in the program. They got all new locker rooms. They did some renovations on the stadium, really bump up the size. So I'm really hoping he can bring that to Tucson and kind of fill those shoes that Jed has left us.
No, that's awesome. And then if you see here on the screen, Lonnie has a cool super chat that we can talk about in a minute. But Brian Ankrum, he's one of the
Yeah.
content contributors for our channel, so he's a
Oh,
big
nice.
friend of the channel. So with him, he says, is the offensive scheme going to remain the same with Jed Fish leaving? Do you have any insight on that?
No. Realistically, no. I'm not.
Hey,
I should
yeah,
preface to everyone watching, I'm not like an actual insider or reporter or anything like that. I'm just a real big fan. I got to imagine though, it would make we would I think we will definitely have some changes. Um, I think there's going to be some similar core competencies that are going to remain the same because just watching like Noah Fafita and Tetro McMillan just do their thing out there, just go ball with the boys. It's I feel like seeing that product last year, as if I were a new coach coming to that situation, I mean, I'm not gonna fix what's not broken, you know?
yeah.
So like I might make some tweaks here and there to do upgrades or fit what works for me and my schemes. But for like the most part, I feel like those core competencies of how our players play together are gonna stay similar to last year. So maybe some
Why
fine
would he
tuning.
mess with it, right? Like, why would
I
he
know,
mess with a good recipe? That's a
truly.
good great point. Okay. Let's do this. So let's put this comment up on the screen. Super chat from Lonnie. Can you guys rank the Big 12 for us? You ready to do it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm excited to kind of get your take on some of it. I mean, I know how I feel about some teams, and I
Yeah.
almost feel like I don't know about you. For me, it's with the Big 12 is so freaking deep. And maybe I'm just not studied up enough. I like to consider myself pretty informed, but some of these there's not a lot of bad teams in here. There's
It's a pretty balanced conference.
yeah.
It's
I mean, to
like
me,
all around.
the bottom 3, there's a bottom 3 for me. And it's
Mhm.
Houston, Cincinnati, and BYU. And I know I'm a Utah fan. I'm going to say BYU. BYU does not look good. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. I've not. I do. Maybe you could say BYU's a notch above those two, but I don't think it's such a deep league that what are you going to put BYU in the Colorado tier? I don't think that's fair.
I
Like,
I think I like your picks of the bottom 3.
oh, sorry, Baylor. I'd say it's probably a bottom
Baylor
4
Baylor
for me.
is also
Yeah,
in there.
yeah,
Okay, yeah. Um, I wanna say if I had to go from bottom up, I would do Houston, like you said,
yep.
uh, Cincinnati.
Oh, Arizona State. Okay, so
Yeah,
Arizona
I was
State,
gonna
Houston,
say.
Cincinnati. Yeah. So both of our rivals are in the bottom
I
5.
was
I
gonna
think we
say
can agree on that.
I would say ASU
Yeah.
ASU and BYU, I think, are a coin toss of who's going to be better this year. I want to say ASU would be just above BYU, just because, and as much as I don't want to cheer for ASU, their head coach, Kenny Dillingham, he's a spaz, but he's a great
Yeah.
guy. Like
No, I
he's
like him too. I'm
he's
I'm
a
with you.
huge dork, but he's a really good guy and he
When you were
loves his
talking
players.
about the Arizona head coach, how he gets it, like he's an Arizona guy. It's like Kenny Dillingham is an
Dilly
Arizona
is that
State
guy.
guy. Yeah.
He is that guy, truly. And then I would put Baylor above ASU and BYU
Okay.
personally.
Do you agree that they're because to me with this bottom group of teams, let's just go ahead and agree those five. You guys can rank them how you want. That's the bottom five, and then we can rank from there. You agree with that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Cool. Let's start with that because there's too many friggin' teams in this conference.
There's a
Okay.
good amount.
Okay, and I'm gonna go. You can rank them if you want. I'm gonna do one more tier, and then I'm gonna go with like a top 6 or something like that. So my next
Should we open
tier.
up a tier maker?
Oh, let's see, dude. I don't know if I'm set up to do all that. I
I don't
know what
know
I'm
either.
doing, but damn, I don't. That would
That's
be
on the
nice,
fly. It's
though.
too on the fly.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
I would say kind of that next step up into like the next tier, but at the very bottom of it, just above Baylor, would be, I want to say, TCU.
yeah. Well, no, I think for me, I don't know. I think Colorado's going to be better than they were last year, but I don't
Mhm.
think they're going to be an elite team in the Big 12. That's just my
No,
take. Yeah, if
no, I
Shador,
would
like
agree.
everyone's like Shador Sanders, is like, well, he was there last year. It's not like he wasn't there. He was there every game last year. And offensive lines are very difficult to build. So,
Yes, they are.
yeah.
I
So I think they're in this tier. So Colorado and then TCU.
Yeah, Colorado TCU are for sure together in a similar tier. Um,
You guys
maybe
chime in on
Iowa
the chat
State.
too. What are your guys' rankings? I want to hear what you guys are thinking. What were you gonna say, Big Tucson?
Maybe Iowa State would also be with them.
Oh yeah. Ooh, I actually really don't know much about it. Dude, I'm trying to catch up on all these freaking Big 12 teams. Like I
Yeah, Iowa State's one of those ones where it's like I can't tell if they're going to be mid or pretty
Yeah.
decent.
I think that's a really good group, what we just went over right there.
Yeah.
TCU, Iowa State, and Colorado, where I'm actually going to throw UCF in there as well, where I feel like those four, there's a ton of ceiling, but there's a ton of mystery
hmm
too. And you don't feel like they're not teams you want to put a lot of money on that they're going to win
No,
7 games. Yeah.
no. And I would say out of that group, I would put UCF at the top of that group
I'm actually
personally.
going to throw one more in here, and this may be an ignorant thing, but just going off hype and going off what I'm hearing, I'm going to throw Texas Tech in here too. I don't expect big things out of Texas Tech
Oh,
this year.
yeah, no, absolutely. Sorry to any Tech fans out there. I completely forgot about Tech. Uh,
All
oh, and
right, so
also West Virginia. I forgot about West Virginia.
I actually have some pretty good faith in West Virginia. They have the highest
They'll
graded
be
PFF
they'll be
returning
decent.
quarterback this year. They're actually like low key. Their quarterback was a stud last year,
They
and
might be
I didn't
sneaky good
know
here
until
this year.
recently. Yeah, yeah. Garrett Green's his name. He's pretty legit. So I'm actually going to do this, and you might not love this one, but this is where I'm going to put Arizona. Not that I don't think Arizona's
I
good,
mean,
but
I get it.
yeah. I'm gonna go West Virginia and Arizona kind of neck and neck for the spot. And trust me, I have very high opinions of both of them. And I think
No,
the
yeah.
just to make sure, the only ones left to be Kansas. I actually think Oklahoma State may be just a tad too hyped up. I'm gonna put Oklahoma State more with West Virginia and Arizona.
Yeah, I can see that
Yeah.
because Oklahoma State is kind of a question mark to me. Like
Yeah.
they're never bad, but they're also very very bipolar in the way that they play.
Yep.
Um, so I could see Arizona, Oklahoma State, and West Virginia. And I'm not sure how I feel about Kansas, but I would maybe put Kansas
Oh
with these
damn.
two as kind of like
Ooh.
a sleeper tier.
Well, you know what? I actually feel like Kansas is almost exactly the same as I guess not exactly the same as Arizona, but I was just going to say like
Not
a team
dissimilar.
where there's some talent and a superstar at quarterback. Like it's like,
Mhm.
hey, you never know how far that quarterback's going to take you.
Yeah. I feel like that's a good grouping
Yeah.
of definitely like sleeper contenders. They're not front runners by any means, but they could do it.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, I'm excited to do this Big 12 breakdown with so many of the Big 12 teams. My
Oh, it's gonna
plan
be
is to
fun.
do a new one every week, and I want to get them on here because I don't like honestly. When I was with Coos, I don't know if you've seen that episode, but when I was with Coos breaking down West Virginia, I was like, "Damn, dude, this is a good team." And think about it, we don't even have them in like the top 5. Um, so why don't you give me your take? Where because obviously it seems like we both have Kansas State and Utah in the top 2. Is that
Mhm.
accurate? So
Yeah. I
how
wanna
are you feeling
say
about Utah heading into the Big 12? Is it Kansas State or is it right neck and neck? What are you thinking?
I want yeah, they're definitely 1 and 2,
Yeah.
Kansas State and Utah. Utah just because new kid on the block powerhouse is kind of what they have always been the
Yeah.
last whenever you guys joined the Pac-12. I can't that was over 10 years ago, wasn't it?
I think
Yeah,
it's 2012. Someone
something
can
like that.
correct me. I just remember
Yeah,
when it
that sounds
changed
right.
on
That sounds
NCAA
right.
on the game. I
And
remember.
um, but one thing that I think would give Kansas State the edge here is the fact that they know all of their opponents
Yeah.
and their stadiums better than we do so far as new entrants into Big 12.
Yeah.
So I would think as my number one, I would put Kansas State to win it all um, in a close match between them and Utah.
Hmm.
Kind of what I'm feeling.
No, that's a good opinion. Honestly, my thing is, I don't know. I like Kansas State. Um, my only thing with Kansas State is they have a really young quarterback, right? And
Hmm.
I just don't know.
It's
Would you
always a
be
mystery.
shocked if they were worse than Oklahoma State or worse than Arizona? I wouldn't be. I
I
really
wouldn't
like.
be,
Yeah,
but
it's
that's just
not that.
because
It's
I
not
have
that.
so much faith in Arizona.
Yeah, yeah, but I just mean you could see them dropping into that second tier. Just being real about it. I think
Yeah.
Utah this year, with all the returning firepower, God forbid, obviously, we could lose Rising and still be in the conversation for the championship.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
lot of
I think so.
firepower. Yeah.
I
And,
think
and
so for
obviously, I'm
sure.
going to say that, but there's a lot of talent coming onto this team this year.
Did you
So
hear that Cam Rising has eligibility for another
I
year,
did.
for an
Yeah,
eighth
yeah.
eighth year of college?
Bro,
He's
and the
college
thing for
twice.
him, I don't know how much they're looking at him as like a high draft pick as an NFL quarterback. I think he's going to have a great year, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Like, he might be in one of those guys where it's like, hey, maybe it's worth it. Like, come back and get paid 2-3 million to
I
be
was
the
gonna
starter
say,
for
get your
Utah.
degree, get some money from NIL,
I
'cause
mean,
who
with his
knows?
time in college, I'm sure he has 2 or 3 degrees already. So.
That's a great point, actually.
All right. Well, we have gotten way off topic. I don't want to take all night for you. Let's get back to Arizona, but we're having a ton of fun. Brian Ankrum, San Antonio, you dropped his really similar to ours from what I can see. Looks almost identical. So I'm pretty much with you there, Brian. I think I would just have um, Kansas maybe a little higher. I feel like seventh is pretty low considering Jalen Daniels. I'm expecting him to bring some pretty heavy firepower.
I
All
also
right.
put Iowa State down just a little bit more.
Oh, did he? I didn't see where Iowa State was.
Number
Oh, he had.
5.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm actually with you. I would put Iowa State behind Kansas and Arizona. I'd probably have Kansas in front of Arizona, but very close. And that's not a shot. It's
It's
just
a coin
keeping it
toss.
real. All
No,
right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and dive in and let's talk about Arizona's 2024 expectations. So, obviously, we just ranked the teams. So, it sounds like you're not expecting Arizona to win the Big 12 championship. But why
Not
don't you tell us
necessarily.
what you are expecting? Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this year, like I said earlier, really depends on how well we adjust to our new coach, Brett Brennan, taking the reins. If Fish was still here and some of the players that he poached were still here as well, I would say be a 10-2 regular season team confidently.
Yeah.
Um, and we have a lot of the same pieces that we had as last year, which I've previously mentioned,
Did you
but there's
guys keep
always
that
that.
running back? What was his name? He was just a bulldozer. I
Oh,
forget his
Jonah
name.
Coleman.
Yeah, Coleman. Is he
No,
gone?
he went to Washington.
Damn, yeah, he was good. I remember watching you guys and being like, damn, I like that kid.
He is crazy. He's
Yeah, that
insane.
sucks. But
But yeah, but there's always kind of an uneasiness when a new coach
yeah.
will get to do with those pieces that we do have from last year. I think bare minimum expectations for us would be to beat ASU again because they're in a lull, so we should be beating them.
Well, and if this coach, Brennan, has all this talent still and doesn't beat Arizona State, then I think that
It's
might be a one and done where it's like, hey, yeah, this isn't going to work out.
maybe, yeah. If like this ASU team, they're definitely probably going to be a little bit better, maybe than last year. But I mean, they're
Yeah.
still not going to be good.
I mean, that's still pretty damn
So
bad. So
yeah,
they
yeah,
were pretty rough last year.
yeah. So bare minimum expectations: beat ASU, go to a bowl again, and win that bowl. Just based on the talent that we have, I think we can do it. I think that's bare minimum expectations. Highest expectations, if we're being like super optimistic,
Yeah.
would be all the previously mentioned things, as well as having a 9-win or more season and possibly winning the Big 12 if
Yeah,
everything
I
falls into
just so you
place.
know, I don't think that's crazy at all. I just so you
Yeah,
know, you guys have one of the best quarterback receiver combos in the
we
entire
really
country.
do.
No, yeah, I don't think like dude, Noah Fafita was so damn good last year.
He
Now
was a
they're gonna get a
freshman,
whole off season to develop the offense around him, and he's
dude.
still got his number one weapon. I mean, trust me, I don't think for you to say like that you guys have an outside shot to win the Big 12 championship is crazy at all. Like you if
Yeah,
it clicks, it's gonna click real hard.
yeah. It's And kind of to bring up the eye patches comment here, the Arizona at Kansas State game will set the tone if the Wildcats are a contender or pretender in the Big 12. I agree. I think that's going to be the real kind of litmus test for us to kind of see what it's looking like. But to your point, we just threw Noah Fafita feet first into the fire last season, and he just did it.
Yeah.
He he was that guy just immediately. So now getting him a full off season of knowing, hey, this is my team, this is
Yeah.
my receiver, this is my head coach who we can build something together with. I I also don't think it's entirely out of the question to be a contender for the Pac-12 or not Pac. Excuse me, I got to stop doing that. Big 12 title.
Well, no, I think anyone saying that's like I think that's when we were breaking down the teams, that group of teams we discussed, the whole
Yeah,
I'll just pull up Brian's comment because it'll refresh me, but that Iowa State, UCF, Kansas, WV, Arizona. I'd say Texas is probably a little outside of that group for me.
Texas
I
Tech.
yeah, Texas Tech. Yeah, Texas.
Yeah,
They could
they wouldn't like
yeah.
hearing that.
Yeah. I I'd probably have Colorado in front of Texas Tech. I think what it is when you look at it, just I'll pull up Brian's comment because it has all the teams listed. I basically have there's a group with Iowa State and kind of Texas Tech and TCU where Colorado, Kansas, and Arizona, it's like great quarterback. You never know what's going to happen. Like it's like, hey, it
Mhm.
could go off, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I could see any of those teams making a run for the title.
absolutely.
All right, so
But
tell
yeah.
us. Obviously, you guys lost. You guys lost a lot, right? But you
Mhm.
for a first year. Sorry, did you want to touch anything else? I didn't mean to cut you off there and jump. Anything else you want to? Okay, cool.
No, you're chilling. I have a Google Doc that I'm reading off right now of all my notes. So like you're flowing perfectly right into what we're about to talk to next.
Well, Arizona transfer. So obviously, it's a great opportunity for a first-year head coach. How many first-year head coaches are getting, especially in the modern day of college football, when the good coach, like he was looking good, leaves to take a better job, usually the really good players follow him. Now it sounds like he
Usually.
took some of the good ones, but he did not take the really good ones. He took some
He
good
did
ones, not the
he
really
took
good.
some he did take some really good ones, unfortunately, but
Oh,
he also missed a lot of really good ones.
yeah.
He took Jonah Coleman. Jonah Coleman is a locomotive train as a running back. But
But what about what's coming in? Yeah, tell us the transfer additions. What's coming in?
yeah, we have a couple people here coming in. Our highest recruit in the transfer portal is a four-star running back, Kendrick. I believe it's pronounced Riskino. Kendrick Riskino.
Hmm.
He's coming in from Ole Miss here, and he didn't get to play while he was with Lane Kiffin for a year. He's a redshirt freshman, I believe.
Okay,
Um,
so he has not played at all. Then is that right?
no, we really
Okay,
only have his high school info to go off of.
how's it
Um,
looking?
he seemed pretty promising and like a potentially pretty dominant weapon in our backfield. So I'm excited to see how it plays out and if he can kind of fill that physical bruising hole of what Jonah Coleman has left us. Because he's definitely one of those guys that's hard to replace with like the physicality of pushing through lines and whatnot. And I'm hoping Kendrick can do that as well.
Cool.
Um, Moving on, we have Jordan Shaw, three-star cornerback from Indiana. Uh, Kind of a similar situation, but he did get to play 3 games last year. Um, 3 games, he got 12 tackles, which I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it's one of
Corners
those
are
guys.
really tough. Corners are,
Yeah,
yeah. You don't want
it
him doing tackles. Could mean like he could have 100 tackles, but that could means he allowed 100 receptions. So
yeah. So it's kind of a situation of maybe he just needs someone to give him a chance to go out, hit the field, and ball consistently, so he can make up
it sounds like from
what.
what I'm hearing, transfer wise, there's not too much that you're expecting big impact from. Does that sound about right?
Nothing crazy. No,
Maybe the
we
running back though. That sounds like he could be a pretty big playmaker.
yeah, and then two other ones that I would say is a three-star edge from San Jose State that Coach Brennan is bringing with him.
Okay.
He's from the Phoenix area originally, so he's an in-state kid. Uh, he has 65. He had 66 total tackles last season, of which 9.5 were for loss. Uh, he just has a motor,
9.5
and
TFLs. That's pretty good.
yeah, and so I think he's kind of one of those guys that he's a 3-star, but I'm
Okay.
hoping that he would potentially be upgraded to like 4-star, being closer to home, getting some like D1 facilities and training staff around him, help him grow, get bigger, and get more aggressive, things like that. Because I mean, if Coach Brennan brought him along, I mean, there's a reason why. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
The
And then
tough
we
thing
just
is
got
you
a.
just never know what the transition is going to look like. Just
You
like
never do.
you hope it works out, but it could just be like too much for him. But
Yeah,
like you said, if he's bringing him over with him, he probably believes he'll do well at the next level. So
that's what I'm hoping for. And then finally, this happened actually 2 days ago, I think. So this one wasn't updated in like 24/7 portal track or anything like that. But Stanley Taufouo, I believe is how you pronounce the last name, is a defensive lineman from USC.
okay,
Uh, 54 career tackles with the Trojans, and I believe he is a senior this year. Big
cool.
dude, just manhandles people, and he seems like a great pickup. Everyone seems really excited that he's coming, so hoping he can really help us. Um, because it's one thing that U of A has never really been known for is having size.
Okay.
And so getting some size on our line is either side is huge for us. Um, so I think he's going to do really, really well for us. And then also, speaking of size, is a guy named Chuba May.
Okay.
He,
Chuba.
yeah, he's a 3-star DL from UC Davis, and kind of similar situation with the kid from San Jose State, where
Yeah.
I'm hoping he outperforms his ranking once he gets some big school resources around him. He's 6'2", 347. Size. We just love size. We
Yeah, yeah.
we will take some size.
Cool.
So
Well,
those
and
are kind of the
any yeah.
transfers we're looking out for.
Okay, cool, man. Well, let's move on to talking about some impactful freshmen. Arizona's known for recruiting quite well. Who should we keep an eye out for this year? Who's looking like they could come out and put up some numbers?
Uh, we have a safety, Jack Luttrell. I don't know how much playing time he's going to get. I'm not sure how much playing time our freshmen are going to be seeing.
It's a good
Um,
thing.
yeah, that is a good
Yeah.
thing. Um, but he's one of those guys that seems like a dog. Just like he didn't get highly recruited like out of high school, like crazy recruiting or anything like that. But I watched some of his like high school clips, and he's so aggressive. He's he's an absolute ball hawk. He's all over it. He knows exactly who's getting the ball, where it's going, and he's so physical about getting to that location. He's
Well, the good thing
so
about safety, especially if you have a super physical young guy, is a lot of the defensive schemes will run three safeties in certain
Mhm.
packages. Like especially a guy that's down to get his hands dirty. So he
Yeah.
could, even if he's not a starter, he could get some reps.
I definitely think he'll get some reps this year, and I think he'll definitely make a little bit of a notice, a little bit of a splash for himself there. Might not become regular playing time this year, but I think he'll definitely get on the radar. Um, and then we have a few wide receivers,
Okay.
Brandon Phelps, Jackson Holman, and Devin Hyatt. They're all
I
three
know Jackson
star.
Holman. I'm like remembering that maybe he was recruited by Utah as well. Sounds
Maybe
so familiar.
it, they're all so tall and physical. And it'll be not just them, but all of our wide receivers will be interesting guys to watch this year because we know for a fact T Mac is going to get doubled up a lot this season. So,
Yep, I'm
uh,
following him. I remember him.
yeah.
Yep, he was recruited by Utah. I remember that guy.
Yeah, so I think these guys are going to get a few chances on the field along with our regular core wide receivers to get a few opportunities to make some sneaky plays here and there while he's being over targeted. And I think they will be able to use their size very similarly to T Mac because I think they're all 6'3", 6'4", like
Wow.
pushing like high 190s, 200s in
And
weight.
who better to learn from on how to be an impactful, big physical receiver than T-Mac?
Honestly, yeah. And so I think we're just gonna be sending 4 giant men down the field every play.
Well, and that matches Noah's Fafita's style, right? He likes to make plays with his feet
Oh,
and then
yeah.
take shots
He's a
downfield.
gunslinger, dude.
Yeah.
He's just ripping it downfield all the time, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. Honestly, it sounds like a fun time to be an Arizona fan. I
It
can't relate
is.
with Utah. Utah has been pretty damn good almost the whole time I've really been a fan. But
Yeah.
I'm a Jets fan as well. So hopefully the Jets are. So I just want you to know I feel you in the pro area where it's like, yeah, I can't wait
Oh,
to have a
dude.
good season. A lot of bad
Arizona
seasons.
sports as a whole, both collegiate and professional. I'm just numb all the time.
All right. And speaking of, let's talk about the returning
Yeah.
playmakers. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
obviously, we've touched on Fafita, we've touched on McMillan, but why don't you real quick just do a brief overview of who those two are and why people should keep an eye on them?
Yeah, so if you are unfamiliar with them, starting off Noah Fafita, that is our quarterback. He is a sophomore, and he really is that guy. Like I can't fully describe how great he is, both on and off the field. He is a born natural leader, and it doesn't seem like he experiences fear or nervousness. It's very Joe Burrow-esque mentality of we're here, we're getting it done. type of guy, but he's also so positive and friendly and kind of bubbly, honestly. He just seems like a really chill dude. So he's very good at keeping his teammates calm, cool, collected in those high pressure situations. Crazy pocket awareness, a bazooka for an arm. He was putting up junior quarterback numbers as a freshman this year, all while missing 3 full games in the first 3 quarters of our 4th game of the season. Uh, if he keeps progressing like the way he has been, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him not necessarily in New York, but in the discussion for Heisman either next year or the year after that. Because he's just him. It's insane.
Yeah, well, you got to hope it works out with this coach because
I
if it
sure hope
does,
so.
you probably got it at least 2 good years in Noah Fafita heading your way. So, and
Hmm.
hopefully 2 awesome years. So you guys,
Yeah.
before he goes pro. So that's Noah Fafita, and then why don't you tell him about the other one, the Tetaroa McMillan?
Yeah. Tetero McMillan, big dude. He's I don't have his height in front of me, but he's tall and he's got a lot of muscle on him, so he's got the weight factor too, and he can jump out the gym. He's bonkers. There was a clip going around a few weeks ago of him just like messing around in
Yeah,
practice, and he was catching a tossed ball to him, doing a 180 rotation, and then passing the ball from one hand caught the ball with to his other hand like he was putting it between his legs to dunk a basketball.
yeah.
Just casual,
Well, and it
super
looks
casual.
like he has no effort doing a one-handed catch. He must have giant
It's
hands.
so smooth,
Yeah.
dude. It's some of the cleanest receiving I've seen in college football. It's buttery.
Hey,
Uh,
one thing I just thought of that I could ask you about, and then we'll
yeah,
dive back. Actually, finish McMillan, and then I'll ask you about it. I just
I was gonna say he's
yeah,
just people have double teamed him last year. People try to recruit him and like steal him away. It's like we said earlier, he could go anywhere he wants, really. He's I will die on this hill. I think if not first, he's top 2 wide receiver in the nation right now.
who
Marvin
else
Harrison,
would be there?
Ozuna are gone.
Who's the other?
Oh,
Egbuka?
it's that
Egbuka?
guy from Mizzou, I think, isn't it? That's the one
Um,
he keeps getting compared to.
Mizzou. Hmm.
I
I don't know.
I think.
I don't
There's
know.
some other guy that I don't
There's
pay attention
I know
to.
Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State, but maybe he's not in that top two conversation.
No, it wasn't a Ohio State guy that he keeps getting compared to. But
I'll
I
look it
imagine
up. Maybe I'll
I
know the name.
imagine
Oh,
I
I think I
imagine there's a
remember someone talking about him. Let's see.
there was like a Bleacher Report comparison picture or something recently. I saw online.
Tariq Owens, is that right? No.
Maybe.
No. I mean, let's not worry about it. Anyways, but you're saying those are the top two guys.
Yeah, I think he's if he's not the best wide receiver in college football right now, he's one of them.
Yeah.
He's very good.
Well,
Very
and
good.
that's
Very
not
physical receiver.
and obviously that's not just an opinion held by you. He is widely renowned as a lot of
Yeah.
people think he's the best. And I
Yeah.
don't blame him. He's consistently gotten better. He was dominant last year. He'll just have an even better connection with Noah Fafita this year. So
Definitely.
sky's the limit. I wanted to ask
Absolutely.
you, this is what I was gonna ask you. So I know I'm super excited about him, but I want to get your opinion. How excited should Utah fans be about Dorian Singer?
I forgot you guys have Dorian Singer now.
Because he had
That's a
the bad
bummer.
year at USC. He had the
That
bad
is a
year at USC.
dude.
How excited she I because personally, I'm not holding it against him. I thought he was such a monster at Arizona.
And he was. And that him going to USC is like the craziest example of the grass is not always greener.
Yeah.
It's it was you could see on his face that he regretted it. Obviously, he's with you guys now, but no, Dorian Singer, very, very good. Very, very good. Very talented, right, young man right there. He's when we had him, T Mac, and then we had a third
Jacob Cowing.
receiver, Jacob Cowing. Yeah,
I was very jealous. I remember
that
that
was a
receiver group. I
that was a
wanted one of them.
violently lethal trio
Yeah,
right there. That was disgusting. And Dorian Singer was part of that. He's extremely good. I think you guys are gonna have a great time with him. If he's not one of your main receivers uh, this season, I would be surprised. I think he definitely should be. If
that's
if
awesome.
not, don't underutilize him like USC did.
Cool. Well, anyways, back to talking about Arizona. Who else? So obviously everyone knows Nova Fida and T Mac, and if they don't,
Mhm.
now they do. Those are the two huge household names. Who else should we be keeping an eye on this year?
Yeah, I mean, I put down a bunch of names, but
Cool.
I'll point out two more for you here just
Cool.
to save the trouble, and I can put a bunch of names in the chat if you guys want. But the ones I wrote notes on, uh, we have Rayshawn Speedy Luke, our running back.
Okay.
They call him Speedy for a reason. He's so fast, and he can switch up on a dime. He's very, very agile. He's a great guy on and off the field. We're excited to see what he does. When we had Jonah Coleman, it was very much a thunder and lightning type of situation with like Reggie Bush at USC, where Jonah Coleman was the thunder to kind of break through those lines. Um, and Rayshawn Speedy Luke was definitely our lightning.
Hmm.
He's real quick, very agile. He can get through or around a line. He's not super physical. He's not really bulldozing anybody, but he doesn't quite need to because he has those fleet feet. So he's a good guy that we have returning that anybody should keep an eye out on. Um, we have a we have a decent amount of defensive players coming back. A few defensive backs like Takario Davis, Traden Stukes, Gunnar Maldonado. They're all great. Couple linebackers, Jacob Manu, Justin Flo. And then
Oh, Flo. I forgot you guys have Justin Flo. Forgot about
yeah,
that.
he's pretty good too. He's kind of a
Yep.
sleeper. He's forgettable, but he does work. He does
Yep.
work. And then the one that I would also that I'm personally very excited for returning wise is our kicker, Tyler Loop. Dude, I never thought I'd be excited about a kicker returning to our team,
Uh-huh.
but
Hey, by the
Arizona.
way, real quick, show record right now, 300 live viewers. Very
Oh,
cool.
hell yeah.
I'm sure we broke the actual record a while ago. I just don't know what it is, and I know we've never hit 300. So very cool. Thanks so
That's
much for watching,
fantastic.
guys. If you're watching,
Amazing.
smash the like button and comment down below in the chat. Keep going. Sorry,
No, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Tyler Loop.
Yeah, Tyler Loop. He's automatic. It doesn't matter how dire a situation is. He was hitting field goals like his life depended on it last season, and I imagine he'll keep doing it again this season. He is ice in his veins. Whenever he came up to kick, I really wasn't stressed very often. Um, and I know I don't expect you to know this, but both at U of A and ASU, there is a not a tradition, but it's very common for either of our schools to have a kicker that goes by last name of Zendejas,
Okay,
because there's just this family who has a lineage of kickers in Arizona, and they both go to ASU and U of A.
that's
And here's
cool
the
to
cool
know. I
thing.
didn't know that. That's unique.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the cool thing though is that they love blowing important kicks. Like it's their passion. It's truly their passion. And so we were always a little bit nervous about our kickers for sure.
yeah.
But Tyler Loop, he's crazy. Last year he had a field goal percentage of 79%. Uh, and that was his career worst year. So not a bad worst year to have. um, his longest field goal was from 52 yards out, and he's just like that. And so
That's awesome.
he's a good guy to have for those chip away points. Like even if you're down or up in the score, it's always nice to be able to rely on your kicker to just either get you that much closer or get you that much further away. So excited to have him back. He's a senior this year, so we'll enjoy him while we have him. He's gonna go first round in the draft the other next time.
I don't know about that, but
Oh yeah, no, he's
it's
golden.
funny with kickers, isn't it? It's like when you have a good one, you don't even like cherish them because
No, you
you get
don't.
so used to it. And then when you have a bad one, you know it. You're like,
Yo,
oh
it's
God, dude. I don't think
it
Utah's had
is
a good kicker for a couple of years now. It's not the
it's
greatest
a
situation.
thankless job, truly. No one notices you're there until you're doing bad.
All right, man. Well, we have been going here for nearly an hour and a half. Is there anyone else you want to go over before we get out of here?
I think that's all I got personally.
Okay. Very
Unless there's
cool, guys.
anything else
Hey,
you guys
well,
have.
hey, that is it on my end. Thank you so much, Big Tucson, for coming on the show, man. If you guys haven't already, smash the like button. That'll help get it out to more Utah fans. And if you guys appreciate this Big 12 breakdown, which obviously the live viewers seems like you guys do, if you guys are appreciating this series, make sure you guys comment it down below and subscribe to the channel. We'll be bringing on a bunch more Big 12 teams and talking Big 12 football. All right, I'm out of here. Make sure you guys follow Big Tucson at Big Tucson Dad on Twitter. And he's at, what's the other one? Is Schrodinger's cat?
Yeah, I have my personal account that I use for everything is Big Tucson Dad, but I also do
Okay.
have a U of A burner account that I just goof around on called
Okay.
Wildcat Agenda.
Okay.
'Cause
Wildcat agenda.
I am spreading my agenda one day at a time.
All right, guys. We are out of here. Have a great night. Have a great weekend, and hopefully a bright future for the Big 12. Go
Have a good
Utes.
night, guys. Thank you.